is a presentation of Real Wise Productions and Comey Media Incorporated. The man dubbed DeSatan is getting the full treatment today. Next on Mentality. Welcome to a special edition of Mentality, the show that where iron sharpens iron in the realm of health, mental health, wealth, love, and entrepreneurship, all from a man's perspective. I am one half of this team, one of the co-hosts of Mentality, Cole Johnson, and I am joined by the other half as well, the man that is known as the WIZE, aka Wize El Jefe. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. Cannot complain. I get to do one of the shows I love doing, Mentality. And I get to do it with one of my favorite people. So let's go.
Well, well, my man actually said exactly how I feel. One of my favorite people is Wise, and one of my favorite shows ever is this. And this is a special episode because Ron DeSantis, it's time for you to endure the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. Now we are focusing our attention on the 46th governor of Florida and the former U.S. congressman that represented Florida, the 6th district of the state, back from 2013 to 2018, because he is, for one, running for the presidential seat next year. Two, is embroiled with so many controversies within his own state, it's not even funny. And three, well, my partner just loves to poke fun at him every chance he gets. Well, he'll get that chance all throughout this episode to do that same thing. And we start with the fact that later on this week, there will be the first of many Republican debates. Oh, yes. Yes. The first Republican debate will be put on display this Wednesday in Milwaukee. And why Milwaukee? Well, that will be the site of the Republican National Convention when we get around to this time next year. So I guess Milwaukee is treating this as a dress rehearsal. And I'm assuming all the other candidates are treating it as such. One of them, of course, chiefly is Ron DeSantis. And of course, one of the biggest question would be, well, is Donald Trump going to be there or is he not?
Well, supposedly he's not going to be there. He's going to be with Tucker Carlson, get an interview. That is what is reported.
Right.
Don't know. I'm knowing him. I think he will go with Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Because he likes the limelight to himself. So if he doesn't have to share the stage with anyone else, he won't have to. Like, listen, I guarantee you, if he does do the interview with Tucker Carlson, all this is doing. Listen, all it's doing is giving the Democrat Party like it's just showing you that how divided this party is. Like the Republican Party, like you
Mm,
have his followers that will tune into his Tucker Carlson interview over
mhm.
the Republican debate.
Just to be petty. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the Republicans need to get the act together, or they will lose the presidential race. That's plain and simple. They need to get the act together, find a way to find common ground, because President Orange has been indicted for a fourth time in the
Mhm.
state of Georgia,
Right.
and yet he still is whooping DeSantis's butt in the polls.
Tearing them up still.
Like this man's been indicted 4 times,
And
and
he's
he's
still
still
lapping
leading the
them.
race.
And
So
the
what does
thing,
that
and
tell you? What does that tell you how the party feels about the other players in the race? They can give two about them.
yeah.
And the only
Um,
reason you're talking about Ron DeSantis right now is because
mhm,
he's implementing. I
mhm,
understand why he wanted the bill he introduced for
mhm.
first and third graders, because
Right.
some of that I agree with, but just not the way he went about doing it.
He's in this field, of course. You'll have other luminaries, such as Chris Christie, such as Mike Pence, such as Tim Scott, such as Nikki Haley, and others, because the field is crowded. Uh, and considering that all the attention is on Trump, and might as well say the rest can share the other half of the attention that they're getting, what must DeSantis do to put himself in a positive light for the 2024 Republican primary and caucus season, starting with this debate coming up?
There's nothing this fool could do. He's made enemies of so many different. Listen, you made an enemy of the mouse
You got to go out your way to
to
make an
make
enemy of
an
the mouse.
enemy of the mouse. He's facing an uphill battle, first of all, within his own state now, because now his 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 constituents is realizing like, yo, this dude is really ego tripping. He's doing stuff so he can look good, I guess. I don't know. But all he's doing is hurting his state's economics. Like his economy with the law he passed about illegals and all this other stuff. Well,
Mhm,
look how many construction jobs were delayed or were suffering because most
mhm.
of their crew was probably illegal.
And one of them got canceled. Oh, and that was a Disney construction site.
Listen, these are again. I don't know how many times we got to harp on the fact that these are jobs normal regular Americans don't want to do. Some of them feel like they're
Yeah,
above some of these jobs. Nobody
yeah,
want to be out there in the orange grove picking oranges.
right. And
But these are the
orange
people
is
that
one of the
will,
biggest crops for Florida. Go ahead.
and these are the people that will do the job.
Hmm.
So, oh, they're taking American jobs. No, they're taking the jobs Americans don't want to do.
Don't want to do.
They
and
take jobs.
yeah, and being as though you worked in the field where that is the truth, that is the case, and I worked in another field where that was the case. Yeah, Americans, I know this for a fact. Americans do not want to touch being in construction, and Americans don't want to do janitorial work.
No.
But people in Florida do love DeSantis. Really? Yes, really. And I'm not talking about the Republican Party or the Republicans in Florida. I'm talking about people like the Orlando Magic. Yes, this past week, I'll say this past month or this earlier this month, they decided to contribute to the Ron DeSantis Political Action Committee. Now, when you do that, you're donating to a person's campaign. Now, the National Basketball Players Association, the labor union of the NBA players, they have distanced themselves from the Magic, and not just the organization or the ownership group, from even the players too, because they feel as though, well, they don't support Ron DeSantis and what he stands for. How can DeSantis attempt to make the magic donation into his campaign an actual good thing instead of a bad thing?
I don't know, man. What you gotta ask questions? Be what are the magic? What are the magic thinking? What are the like? You're trying to get people into the arenas. You're trying to get, and when you get your own league that does not agree with this donation, there's problems, man. When your own league does not agree with these donations.
He said they're trying to get people into the arenas.
If you're gonna do something stupid, why not do something stupid in quiet where like nobody can really see you doing something stupid?
That's a really good question. And then that is the battle cry that DeSantis has had ever since he went on the campaign trail for his second administration run as governor of Florida. His war on wokeness. Yeah. Now, it was a wonderful ploy and it gave him a landslide victory this past November to have his second administration in Florida. However, as governor. However, this war on wokeness that he has waged, for some reason, it may be that he is a victim of his own offensive. And why is that? Well, big money donors are starting to leave the campaign and not want to actually donate to it. What strategy can DeSantis do to make his campaign one to really invest in?
First of all, stop fighting with the mouse. Stop fighting with the mouse, because y'all people, y'all not realizing that the mouse is one of the biggest conglomerates in the world.
Stop fighting with the mouse.
And their power reaches many
global.
different lanes. So who knows who in that hedge fund got a phone call from somebody at the mouse like, yo, don't you got stock in Disney? Don't you? Oh. So would you like to keep that stock? Like these things that happen. These are things that happen. The mouse is dangerous. Y'all need to stop this. Y'all need to, DeSantis, I advise you, make up with the mouse.
We're just getting started. Mentality will return. What's on E. Dicker's mind?
A and B, I'm going to see my way out of it. Because why? I don't care. I have a message for people who do nothing but complain about black people. We can't change who we are. You called the cops on me. I think that every time you call the cop on someone on a false accusation, your need to be a little bit punished.
BS3 Network proudly presents a man with a lot to say and is unabashed to say it. What's on E. Dicker's mind? Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. The Mocha Minutes Podcast, a black person safe space. Well, I'll let Stephanie talk about it further.
You would be a Michael Jai White. I'm sorry. No. I like him. He's so pretty when he don't talk. Would Will Smith, if this was a white comedian, would he went up and slapped him? Would y'all have a problem with it if it was a white comedian doing this? People who say water or wash, I'm like, how did wash get an R in it? Stand up. I don't know why 5 heartbeats just popped in my head. Stand up.
From entertainment to society and culture, that comprises of the Mocha Minutes Podcast, hosted by Stephanie. Welcome back to Mentality, where men are men and not machines. Thank you, Stevie Wonder. With Wize and Cole, I am Cole Johnson, and we talked about the fact that he's warring with the mouse and that he seems to wage all sorts of wars with wokeness, with the education system, and even with his other compatriots in running for the presidency of the United States on the Republican side. But he's doing it in a way where he's hurting himself in his own campaign. DeSantis has cut his staff by a third ever since he has announced that he's going to run for president of the United States. So if you don't think he's feeling the pinch, that right there tells you otherwise. So I will ask this. So with Janera Peck, DeSantis' gubernatorial reelection was a hit, but his presidential campaign so far has been a miss. So what should the DeSantis campaign do going forward, other than make up with the mouse?
Concede. Because like I said, just concede, man. Just give up. Just give it up. Just give it up, man. Because unless your boy goes to jail,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't gonna win. You cannot catch this man. Like, there has to be something. Again, he has to literally go out and shoot somebody in the middle of the street and they arrest him. Like, there's nothing this man is doing that party is leaving his side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, he got indicted for the 4th time this week.
Mm-hmm. Indicted by the state of New York, indicted by the state of Florida, indicted by DC, and now indicted by the state of Georgia.
And my man is still leading in the polls. Concede. If you really stop now.
Oh no.
Stop now, unless you have something that's gonna really flip the polls around. And I don't see that happening.
He said, stop now. We're not even in the caucus of primary season. You're telling him to stop now. Wow.
Because it seems like that lead is growing more and more every day.
It does. It does seem to be that way.
It's like people in his own party are really like, nah, I don't like this. Like he looks like a slime ball salesman.
That's the problem that I see with him. What makes it worse for him, he looks that way with his own party.
You know what it is? He looks like what Trump campaigned against. Your lifelong politician that is here just for himself and not for the people. He's the kind of guy that Trump said he was going to clear the swamp of. That's who he is to me.
You know, I had a conversation with somebody, and this is not for DeSantis. This is like way back. Like this is like when W was in office. And I remember talking with someone, and I said, you know, don't you feel at times there's candidates that's tailor-made for somebody to whoop? And I really felt as though John Kerry was a candidate tailor-made for W to whoop. And he did. Fast forward 20 years, I think we're starting to see another candidate that's tailor-made for another candidate to whoop. Because I believe DeSantis is tailor-made for Trump to just thump. Just to thump and just to push aside. And like you said, remember when I said back in 2016, 2020, I was going to clear the swamp? Here's a picture of a person who represents the swamp. And he could do that with DeSantis, and everybody and their mama will leap up to their feet and stand and applaud him for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's right. Whether you agree or disagree with Trump, he's right. He's right, especially with DeSantis, because he straight up is a cookie cutter politician.
Mhm.
Man,
And that's the problem. That's the problem with the Democratic Party. Like
yeah, getting more and more of those. Exactly.
everybody you putting up there is cookie cutter politicians. You're
Mhm.
not putting anyone out there like that is saying anything that we want to hear.
Right,
You know, like
right.
you
Your
don't
two
have a rock
biggest
star like Obama. You don't have a
right.
rock star
Mm-mm.
like Obama.
No, and the two biggest Democratic names that you have right now in Biden and Kamala Harris, they both look like cookie cutter politicians.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's to the point where people can look at them and they say, "Oh, you must be reading from a script." That's not a good sign.
No.
And that's on the Democratic side. And on the Republican side, you look at this guy in DeSantis, it's like, dude, I don't think you got a clue. I really would love to say that you do. I don't think you do. And uh, with that being said, how? I'll frame it this way. Now, you remember when he ran in 2018 against Andrew Gillum, and Gillum said the statement in a debate, in the gubernatorial debate, quote, "It's not that I'm calling Ron DeSantis a racist. It's that the racists are calling Ron DeSantis a racist." Close quote. Now, how on earth can the DeSantis campaign change the perception of him being racially insensitive? Because that has stuck with him the following 5 years since that statement was made.
Oh man, I just like it just blows my mind like to just there's nothing there's nothing he's gonna do. There's nothing he can do for me. There's nothing this man can do. Like no one likes him. No one. Like probably his own mama don't like him right now.
Oh no.
Like I said, if President Orange don't get indicted, don't get locked up, you're not gonna win. And then he's most definitely not gonna choose you for his running mate.
Well, he's not going to choose DeSantis as running mate, and the part that sucks for him is that I think if he were to have really wanted to have a chance of basically being that guy,
If he was smart, he would have
would've
stuck
said
out of this race. He would have stuck
Mhm.
out of this race,
yes,
sucked up to Trump, kissed his became
right.
his running mate. And after Trump ran, he didn't run for the fourth year again.
Oh, well, he can't. Well, if Trump
Yeah.
wins, he can't run again.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. So that would have left him in a good spot. See,
Right.
these dudes don't think.
Mm-hmm.
They hungry
Yeah.
now. They power hungry now. He wants to be the man now.
Now,
If he was
Mhm.
smart, he would have
Yes.
sucked all that up, been sucking on Trump, been like, yo, listen, I'm your man.
I want to
Trump.
run, but I'm not.
Yes. But
It's your
I want to
turn.
be a running mate.
Right.
And I'm sure Trump, if you would have kissed his and all this other stuff, he would have picked you.
Yes. He was
Yeah,
a sure.
we're both representing Florida. Yeah, let's do this.
Why is that? Why is that an affirmative? It took Trump for DeSantis to win the gubernatorial seat in Florida in the first place. Not in 2022, in 2018, because that race was close. But then he kissed the ring. He got the seat.
And I get it. Listen, I love your ambition,
I do too.
but you
Execution.
but
The strategy.
you just the plan just blew up in your face.
He's not taking our advice because I agree with you. I think he should concede, bow out, and try to do his best to grease the wheel for him to be second in line to whomever. More likely will be Trump, but I don't think Trump would pick him now. To but do everything he can possibly be to ingratiate himself to the voters in the GOP party, to where when he gets to 2028, he'll be the guy they will consider.
Yeah.
But right now, he is targeting Iowa as his focus. And for those who are politically unaware, normally when the political campaign season begins, and it may change next year, but all the way to 2020, the first stop has always been Florida. First stop has always been Iowa, and the second stop has always been New Hampshire. So a governor that you are familiar with, Chris Christie, he's been campaigning in New Hampshire for the last week. DeSantis has done the same thing in Iowa, and he ended up having people talk back to him, and not in a complimentary way. How can he appeal to non-Floridians? Because I just don't see it.
Bro,
I don't
it's
see
not
it.
happen, dude. When you have Trump supporters come to your rallies to harass you, to make fun of you, that is a problem.
Mhm.
When you have Trump supporters at your rally to cause a disruption, it's the same party.
That's the best part.
It's the same. Like you
This is
have
this is a Democrats going ham on him, right?
huh?
So this isn't Democrats talking ill at him in his
it's his own
debates.
party. Like, how does it get to, like, I understand if they were going to a Biden rally and causing ruckus there, but they are going to a Republican Party rally, and they're trolling a fellow Republican.
Trolling him hard. Trolling him hard.
If that's not a sign, that you need to give up, I don't know what is, bro. When you have people in your own party coming and trolling you and telling you suck and that Donald Trump is better than you.
It ain't your time, buddy. Mentality will be back in 2 and 2. What's on E. Dicker's mind?
A and B, I'm going to see my way out of it. Because why? I don't care. I have a message for people who do nothing but complain about black people. We can't change who we are. You called the cops on me. I think that every time you call the cop on someone on a false accusation, your need to be a little bit punished.
BS3 Network proudly presents a man with a lot to say and is unabashed to say it. What's on E. Dicker's mind? Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
This is all docked up.
Chris, listen, I gotta go to work, Jay. I cannot take a shot every time we say enemies. Very jealous. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. BJ.
So he flies her out. She says, "Thank you. That was very kind of you." Like, Pernilla's not starstruck. She was like, "Yeah, you ought to if you want me to come." I wasn't gonna foot the bill.
Heroes.
He literally threatened her. His message says, "I see you blocking me on WhatsApp. I don't know why, but this is not gonna turn out good for you. Because I blocked you on WhatsApp? You threatened me and my mama?"
Welcome back to Mentality, where it's a show created for all men. with Wize and Cole. I am Cole Johnson, and you are inside the whole truth about Florida governor and presidential candidate for 2024 on the GOP side, Ron DeSantis. Now, we have mentioned his campaign being in flux. We've mentioned him having his war on woke. We've mentioned campaigns that came from them places that really it shouldn't, or it should, but it just was ridiculous. But now we're going to touch on, to me, the biggest flashpoint in his gubernatorial stay in Florida, and that is the war with the mouse. And yes, it started with the Don't Say Gay bill, or the Parental Rights Education Act, and how it was implemented. After the summer of last year, Disney sat on it and sat on some more, and then back in April, they decided to sue the state of Florida and Ron DeSantis in particular. Do you think Disney has a point in speaking out against the Don't Say Gay Act or the Parental Rights Education Act, or is this lawsuit they filed against him and Florida about something else?
Again, my thing is why are they implementing this? Like, are you implementing this to attack that community,
Mm-hmm.
or is your interest really the kids? And
if
so,
if it's not the latter, that's unfortunate.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you, again, if Disney is suing because they don't want this to be politicized, fine, I get that,
I do
because
too.
that's what is being pushed as a political topic, and instead of something that should be done because it's important to protect the children.
Mhm.
It's all about protecting kids.
Exactly.
And again, to me is an age where they're very vulnerable to ideas and to whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with you. The intent, I think, is what is the problem.
And it's crazy because I had a conversation with me and Bobby. We spoke to her sister. We had a conversation with her,
Mhm.
and she was like, I don't know. She's like, because she said, when I was young, I considered myself an ugly duckling, and I was and Jessica's beautiful. She's beautiful,
Mhm.
but she's a little bit darker. She's dark,
Oh man,
and so
that comes with a lot. That comes with a lot of stuff too.
so she was like, what if, she's like, I don't know. She's like, at one point I was like I had very low self-esteem. I didn't think I was beautiful, whatever. I was very tomboyish.
Mhm.
She says, what if at that point in my life somebody kept chirping in my ear, you're a boy, maybe you're a boy, maybe you're a boy.
Mhm.
Oh,
You know,
maybe I am.
You know, you're attracted to girls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a kid, you're like, maybe you are. Like, you don't know.
Maybe I
You know?
am. Mm-hmm.
So, and she made a lot of points, and she's like, so she kind of, and she's a millennial,
Mm-hmm.
and so she's like, so for me, it was just the way how she explained it was like, okay, I can see what you're saying. Yes, she said, but she didn't have that pressure. She just felt awkward. She was at an awkward stage in her life, and eventually she overcame that.
In June, DeSantis decided to levy this claim that Disney is embracing sexualized content and pushing it toward children and pushing it on children. Now, the Disney CEO Bob Iger challenges the notion and basically says, "No, we're not about that life." Do you believe one is more right than the other, or do you believe both men have a point?
I don't. It to me, I don't know. It's. Is Disney pushing the? I don't see them pushing gay characters on us or anything like that. Are they? Like,
I mean, unless you're considering Marvel, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But oh man.
But I can't think of a cartoon that Disney's put forth that promoted anything homosexual.
Besides changing the color of the Little Mermaid and all that, and which we don't see nothing wrong. A lot of people do, but it doesn't bother us.
That was nothing. Yeah.
I guess the controversy with the Wakanda Forever, but
okay.
Listen, DeSantis again. You're gonna lose another. This is a battle you're gonna lose again. Like you're losing your battle against Trump. You're losing your battle against the mouse because you're deciding to go up against two of the biggest forces. One of the biggest forces in your political party and one of the biggest forces in the world.
DeSantis is still trying to strong arm Disney. So along with all of this battle and brouhaha and back and forth and litigation being thrown from one end to the other, DeSantis has used his power to take away the company's ability to self-govern its amusement parks in the Orlando area. How, other than basically kissing and making up with the mouse, can this mess be cleaned up?
He gives them back their power to self-govern. I don't. That's one way I see it happening. But then again, that's going to give Trump ammo, and
well, if he needs any.
Yeah, he's just gonna give him more ammo to be like, see how weak he is. That the mouse had him scurrying and give him back. Like he would have been a target again. He has a big target already, and it would have just been worse for him. It's just gonna get worse, man. That's why I said concede, move on from this. Enjoy your time as governor of Florida. Do what you got to do, but just concede, man. Like you're not gonna. Oh man, you're just not gonna make it.
And now he's seeking immunity from the lawsuit. Even with that immunity that he's seeking, he still speaks on Disney having a woke agenda. Now, should Disney just simply say, screw you, and they move out of Florida? Or should DeSantis try his best to settle with the conglomerate?
He better settle. He better settle. Because this is the biggest company in your state. It employs the most people in your state.
And doesn't it also draw the most tourism in the state too?
Yes, it does.
God, so twofold he needs to settle. Goodness gracious.
Why was this bill implemented? What did he see? Or is he just a way to combat this community? Are you doing this to combat to attack these people? Because you feel that, hey, this is how we're going to attack them?
I hope not.
And I think he is. I don't think he's doing it for the right reasons.
This is a morality thing with us. And I would hope that with DeSantis it's the same, but judging by his moves, I would say otherwise. And it looks like, judging by what Disney's doing, they're saying otherwise to you too. And I'm with Wize, man. You better settle with the mouse because your political future depends on it.
Yep.
Both in Florida and in the country. Later, we will have thoughts from the throne. This is Mentality. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole,
A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan,
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. Are you looking for something to do on your lunch break? Well, there's a show on the BS3 Network that has only 4 words to say to you.
We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all. We ready. We ready.
The Lunch Break with AJ, powered by JM&E. Live weekdays at noon Central. Welcome back to Mentality, where it is the ultimate masculine safe space. With Wize and Cole, I am Cole Johnson, and you are inside the whole truth about Florida governor and presidential nominee, or presidential candidate, I should say, Ron DeSantis. I had to dig a little bit further, and there was a panel of 13 educators who was part of this plan to reshape the Florida history curriculum. One of those individuals was Michigan State professor William Allen. There was an interview that he performed, that he was on with NPR, and he talked about what it took and why he did what he did in being one of the 13 to come up with curriculum. Now, the Michigan State professor was responsible for drafting Florida's new history standards. Now, he supports the assertion that people being held in bondage and slavery benefited from the skills learned during that period. The question I have to ask to you when I give you the floor is, how tone deaf does that statement sound?
Brother, we've heard some real stupid stuff in our lives. And
Yes, we have.
and for someone to say, that's kind of like how Kanye's saying slavery was a choice.
Yes.
Forget the part where people were brutalized,
Mhm.
limbs were cut,
Mhm.
people were lynched, hanged,
Mhm.
women being raped,
Mhm.
kids being killed.
Mhm.
But yet, and it was great because Papi talked. They one of the things they mentioned was like, oh, they learned how to be blacksmiths and all.
Mhm. Mhm.
They were doing that in Africa.
So the fact that you have to have this policy of a complete history overhaul is disingenuous at best, and it is dishonest at worst.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a joke all around.
Yep.
And it's to the point where it's such a joke, you actually had one of DeSantis's opponents in Tim Scott speak out against it and saying that it basically he should be ashamed of himself, and that this curriculum is trying to teach there's a silver lining. And like you have said, and I have said, there isn't any silver lining when it comes to slavery.
Mhm.
Now, I'll ask this about Tim Scott. Now, do you believe that this is something that the GOP believes, that there is no silver lining in slavery? Or do you think this is something that Tim Scott is acting on his own behalf and saying?
This is something he can use against DeSantis. This is something he can be like, listen, look, he don't care about black folk. He don't care about nothing but himself. And again, that's just giving ammo to his enemies, and it's a big bullet, man, because this is something major. Like, you're trying to erase history. You're trying to put a curriculum forth that shines, makes it seem like slavery was okay. Like, hey, it was cool. You learned the skill. You could tailor some clothes. You could pick some cotton. You could put a horseshoe on. But we're not going to add the part that we whipped y'all, where we raped your women, where we killed your kids,
where we separated you from your family,
where we changed your name.
This is what it specifically says in the state document, which is for the new standard of the Florida historic curriculum. Quote, slaves developed skills which in some instances could be applied for their own personal benefit. Close quote. Now, for a person who's waging a war against the woke, does his behind need to literally get awakened himself? And here's the funny thing before you answer. Here's the funny thing I find about all this. This fool is waging a war on Disney, yet he's doing a Disneyized version of history with this. How hypocritical of him.
Didn't think about it that way. Yeah. He is. I don't listen. Again, concede. Just concede, man. Just concede, bro. Just move on.
Wait.
And finish your office and finish your term in Florida, and then we just retire and enjoy life with your wife and your family. Listen, like, we didn't know about you 5 years ago. We don't care less about knowing you 5 years from now. So, peace be with you. That's it. There's nothing more. Like, I'm done talking about this dude. Like, I'm really done.
Wait. I have known you for a year, almost a year and a half. You are the type of person that I have always known to say, if this is what you want to do, go ahead with your passion and go for it.
No, not in this case. No, not in this case.
You would literally do a 180 with DeSantis.
Like, right now, right in his case, I am advising you quit. It's okay with quitting. It's all right. In this case, it's all right if you quit. I won't hold it against you.
Oh, that's what I find funny.
I won't hold it against you. Yes, you can quit. Like, for this instance, because you're getting your butt whipped
badly
by someone who's been indicted 4 times. I can't repeat this enough times. 4 times.
And it still has a double-digit lead on it.
It has double-digit lead on you. Like, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? That people don't like you? Because even a man that's been charges been pressed on him 4 times, this man is still leading you. He's blowing you away. And there's no sign like it's going to stop. So, quit while you're ahead. It's all right. Like, it's okay. You can tell everyone, make something up. Make something up. Like, I don't care. Make it like you're an alcoholic. I've been drinking. Whatever it is, man. You come out with a scandal, have an affair, do something, and be like, yeah, I gotta drop out.
Oh no.
Whatever it is to make yourself not look like a quitter, I'm down with that.
Oh,
If you don't want to
Lord.
make yourself look like a quitter, come out with a scandal.
Oh no.
You'll be forgiven eventually. So just come out with a scandal.
God.
Just drop out.
Not like a Gary Hart scandal. We had a hoe on the side.
Yeah, something. And then you might endear yourself to the public. Like, they might feel sorry for you. They're like, oh man, he's a regular guy. He cheats on his wife like us. Something like just it's okay to quit. I don't always say that, but in your case, Ron DeSantis, it's okay.
I'm tapping out. You can't stop that at all. And now, thoughts from the throne.
All right, so I just want to start this Thoughts of the Throne with giving a big happy 50th birthday to my brother, Anthony J. Gonzalez, aka Papi Jae. Y'all have heard me mention him quite a few times on the Mentality.
Happy birthday, Papi Jae.
And just wanted to just really show him that tell him that I appreciate him and I love him. And thanks for helping me discover my passion and my love and believing in what I'm doing and being my number one supporter, man. I greatly appreciate you, brother. And I know you enjoyed this. Your birthday was a couple of days ago, but celebrate those 50 years, brother, because you've made an impact on my life, and I am definitely grateful for you, man, for definitely you showing me a lot of the things that I've learned and pushing me to become what I am now. And you're like I said, you're one of my biggest supporters, biggest fans, and just want to let you know that I'm one of your biggest fans. And we're gonna ride this and we're gonna build the village. We're gonna build the village that we always talk about. So happy birthday, my brother. Love you. Enjoy the rest of the month. And we just keep aiming for those goals, man. Keep aiming for building that village and building that community that we dream of.
One of the greatest gifts that I think any of us could ever receive is the art of giving. So I noticed that a mutual friend of ours, shout out to Snowman, he was having issues with his mic, and you have to understand, being in this content creation space, the mic is a huge part of what we do. And so he was having those static issues with the mic, and I was going to gift him one last month, but the timing wasn't right. So I was led in my heart to actually do this time, and I said, look, just pass me your address, bro, because you're about to receive a new mic from me. And he did, and I did. And it was great to see his reaction. He was literally like a 6-year-old when he received it, and it made me feel so good. Not not to stroke my ego and say, well, I bought him something. No, it was my brother had a need and I was able to step in the gap and fulfill it by giving him a gift. And that is what paying it forward is. I don't need to receive anything in return from him. I just want him to be blessed because that's what we're supposed to do. On this earth, we're blessed to be a blessing. No matter what our circumstances are, that is what we're supposed to do. And so I had the resources to bless him, and that's what I did. And you have the power to do the same. So always know that as a man, one of the biggest gifts that you can do is pay it forward, especially to another brother. And those are thoughts from the throne. All right. Anything else that you would like to say before we say goodbye to the mentality audience?
Nah, I'm good. I don't have anything to say. Like I said, I'm at peace with Boston right now. So there will be no disparaging of Boston at this moment. I know people are waiting for it. People are waiting for it. They kind of miss it. But I've said I was gonna chill and be nice. So I'm cool. I'm good. I'm good.
Good. And so am I. I felt really good with this episode. And look, thank you all. Thank you all so much for giving us well wishes, saying how it touches you, saying basically how the relationship that Wize and I have touches you. And that's what this show was about in the first place, to show you that two black men at that can be vulnerable, can be insightful, can be humorous, can be intelligent, and can boldly say "I love you" to the other, and it's not a hashtag pause situation.
Yeah. Now, shout out to Cool McCain too, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that message you sent us, brother. We really do appreciate your feedback, and we do appreciate your comments and everything, man. It's important for us to get feedback from our from our brothers and people that we respect. So we greatly appreciate you sending us that message and letting us know that you appreciate us, man. We feel the same way, brother.
Oh gosh,
so
we totally appreciate you, Cool.
Yeah, so thank you for those comments, brother, and thank you for the support, man.
Yeah.
So
no question. And that concludes this special Whole Truth episode on Ron DeSantis from Mentality. I hope you all enjoyed this. And thank you all for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, and for hitting that notification bell when we have any and all new episodes emanate from either the Real Wise TV channel or the Comey Media Incorporated channel. We appreciate every last one of you. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies who loves this content. For Wize Helefe, I am Cole Johnson, here to say in parting as we always do. Our secret technique is that we always speak with mentality. See you next week.
That's 100.